What's up, YouTube? This is Skills versus Pills. I put together a few pictures to update my few followers on what's going on with the Mayweather Pacquiao schedule for May 5th or June 2nd to June 9th, 9 or 8 days after Mayweather gets incarcerated, if it's down to Bob Arum. Today is January 13th. We're supposed to hear if Manny Pacquiao is going to say, forget about the arena. Let's fight where we usually fight and take Mayweather's challenge for May 5th, which is what the fans want to see. It's what the fans want to hear. A lot of news today is going around saying that if Pacquiao doesn't take the fight, he'll be faced. Mayweather most likely pick Saul Alvarez, who is 39-0 with 29 knockouts, and I think he has one draw. Canelo, he's a good fighter. I think he does a lot of things like Mayweather. He's a little heavier, so he isn't as slick. The guy is definitely a power puncher. He waits for opportunities. He's from what I see, he's a pretty decent counter puncher. Alvarez, he has taken out the likes of Miguel Cotto's older brother that we know. He's a pretty good fighter. I believe when they fought, Cotto was I think 30 wins and only one loss, and that was a pretty good fight. Cotto got in there and hit him a couple times, gave him a little bit of a challenge before losing a decision, I believe. Then we seen Canelo take on Alfonso Gomez from the Contender. Alfonso, to me, is a guy that never really looked too great. He's been knocked out a few times, so he does look like he's going out after every punch. So it only helped the guy like Saul Alvarez to jump in there and really beat him up good. We also seen Saul Alvarez take out a older, out of his prime, Carlos Baldomir, that Mayweather beat back in the day. Baldomir still looked like he had a little steam going. It's just Alvarez he's a good fighter, and I don't see why Mayweather would pass up this fight. This guy, he is pretty heavy. He fights at 154. He probably comes into the ring around 165, 167, somewhere around there. Alvarez, he is a champion though. A lot of people talk about how he's so young at the ripe age of, I think he's like 21 or 22 years old. He's already the WBC super welterweight champion. So it's Mayweather fought for the welterweight championship before when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. He's been at the same weight ever since, walking around at 150, fighting at 147. So this shouldn't be too much out of his way. I think this fight will be another Mayweather versus Baldomir again, or a Baldomir with the speed of Victor Ortiz. We've seen Alvarez take out Kermit Citron a few weeks ago, which was a pretty good fight. Alvarez, he also beat down Matthew Haddon pretty good. Matthew Haddon just couldn't. He's usually a guy that can get in there and try to figure out a way to get to a guy. But Alvarez's defense was tight. This fight showed that his defense was really tight, and he's getting better at standing in front of guys, making them miss. Alvarez, he reminds me of the guy from Rocky 4, Ivan Drago. The Russian guy with the red hair. Really ripped and everything. I don't want to make any accusations or anything, but I have seen characteristics of performance enhancing in Saul Alvarez sometimes. But I'm pretty sure a fight with Mayweather will have full random drug testing and all that stuff, so there's no need to worry about that. That takes care of all that. The couple things that I've seen that Mayweather could exploit in the undefeated super welterweight champion is that when he gets you against the ropes, he does open up, and he does leave himself open for short shots up the middle, but you can't stand around in there because he's a heavy puncher. And Kermit Cintron found out about that. You remember Ivan Drago was a pretty big guy. You know, you can compare him and his size to what if you look at the Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed fight, where he actually slaughtered Apollo Creed in that fight. You know, because he was juicing really. That'll be the size difference in Alvarez and Mayweather. Alvarez is a few inches taller, and I believe it'll be a pretty good fight where Mayweather just has to stay clear of those heavy punches raining in. You know, he could probably walk himself to a decision. You know, regarding Mayweather and Pacquiao, I don't know if we'll ever see these guys in their prime. You know what I mean? We might see them when they get older. You know, probably after a loss, a couple losses for Pacquiao, and who knows what's gonna go on with Mayweather. You know, if he's taking on big challenges like Saul Alvarez, you can't guarantee that he'll stay undefeated. But Mayweather has the defense to make guys miss. He has the skills to get inside and capitalize. But the fight that we really want to see is Mayweather-Pacquiao. Pacquiao, he's been fighting guys that used to dominate the game, you know, and he's a big test for anybody. You know, Pacquiao is a guy that's used to being an underdog just because he's a smaller guy and he's Filipino, but he's finally found a promoter and a trainer who knows how to pick the perfect fights for him that he dominates in. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, before we even ever knew Pacquiao, you know, he was already dominating guys. He's been knocked out a couple times and this and that, but I think by the ratio that he's won, his knockouts and his draws, they're downplayed. But if you watch the fights that he's in, Pacquiao takes a major beating every time that he's in a fight. Even if he wins, he always takes a major beating. I don't know if it's the diet that he's on, but he bruises really easily. It seems like his bones are brittle. He doesn't really seem as solid as he's made out to be. And a lot of times I think it's just that his opponents are really softened up. Now, Mayweather, he has called Pacquiao out a few times. You know, you remember he called him out before the Victor Ortiz fight when he told him, Pacquiao, you're next. A lot of people didn't like it because he soon, when he didn't want to say Pacquiao's name anymore, he put out that Pacquiao was trying to use his name to promote himself. Mayweather didn't want to say Pacquiao's name anymore, so he started denying that Pacquiao was next just to take his name out of the media. But soon after the Victor Ortiz fight, Mayweather did call Pacquiao out again before the Marquez fight on a Fight Hype video, saying that it was before the Fight Hype video, saying that he wanted to fight Pacquiao if he got past Marquez. Then after the fight, Mayweather called him out again, saying, you know, take the fight and this and that. You know, if you watch the Mayweather videos, you know, you seen what's going on. Check out Fight Hype. Check out YouTube. Check out Twitter, and you'll see all these Facebook. You'll see all the times that Mayweather called him out. And recently, Mayweather was supposed to be sentenced to do a little stint in jail. You know, he got off on a lot of felonies. They wanted to give him 34 years. Yes, they wanted to give Mayweather 34 years for, I guess, going to the house that he pays for and muscling up his baby's mother and in front of the kids, and you know, this big drama that they made of it. You know, that it was so bad that the kids had to run out the house and jump over the back fence to go call security on their dad because he was taking their cell phones. So, you know, the judge excused Mayweather, but that was a big surprise to the Pacquiao camp. They thought Mayweather would be incarcerated, and they figured that they can get him ASAP as soon as he stepped out of the cell. You know, so he wouldn't be as active, he wouldn't be loose, he wouldn't be in the same state of mind as he's always been. But Mayweather isn't the only one that has downfalls. Pacquiao, he's recreating his image in the Philippines because Filipinos like to gossip alike, just like any other race. Everybody likes to gossip, but they gossip a lot, and I guess it's because a lot of them are baklats, so it's even crazier. Men in the U.S. usually don't tell on other men who are cheating around and messing around in their wives and everything. But out there, you never know who you're dealing with. The man can be a woman in front of you. So Pacquiao's recreating his image. He's been known to stay out late and lay in the bed with guys and stuff like that. What's next for Pacquiao could be, the club or lane to Rocky. If Pacquiao wants to step up to the plate, maybe it's not gonna be Mayweather. But if Pacquiao wants to step up and fight Tim Bradley, that would be a great fight. I think Tim Bradley could be like Pacquiao's Mayweather. Remember how it could be Rocky's Clubber Lang. Tim Bradley is an undefeated champion. He usually comes into the fight weighing about 145 pounds. And same thing as Pacquiao, same size, same height. These guys are chiseled up. They don't get tired. They're there to throw blows. And I think that the way Rocky came out versus Clubber Lang in their first fight, trying to beat him up real hard and real fast with these lightning combinations. And Clubber Lang just settled down and took it right back to him and knocked him out within a couple rounds. And I think that this is something that Tim Bradley can do. He can catch Pacquiao being overzealous because he's finally going to get in with a young African-American champion that's still in his prime and ready to go. He's not drained, and matter of fact, he's going to be able to lift weights and still come up in weight if they do fight at the 147-pound weight limit, which they probably won't. Manny Pacquiao would probably try to keep him limited to 143 pounds, which would be no problem for Bradley right now because he's the 140-pound champion. But 147 welterweight limit will be perfect for this fight, and I think it'll be a good fight to see. As a matter of fact, I'd love to see this fight on the undercard of Mayweather Alvarez. Yes, that'd be hilarious. But I don't think Tim Bradley would necessarily get this fight because the way that Tim Bradley fought with Devin Alexander, and the way that Devin was stepping in with the headbutt. It was most of the time, I believe that was Devin stepping in with the headbutt. Tim Bradley also fought Joe Casamayor, who was another southpaw. And they didn't have any headbutts throughout 8 rounds. Devin Alexander, he kept on leaving his head in, and it was a pretty crazy fight. But for that reason alone, the way that Tim Bradley was able to take it, I don't think he'll land that fight. So we might see Manny Pacquiao going up against who knows who he's gonna pick. I really think that the fights that he won, he beat the guys at a good time. If he fights Miguel Cotto again, if he doesn't drain him, maybe he'll win. But I don't think they'll be able to come to an agreement on the weight. So let's scratch out Miguel Cotto. I also think that Manny Pacquiao, he has a slight chance against Lamont Peterson, but I believe Lamont Peterson would be able to capitalize on him and bring Pacquiao to a slow start. I think Pacquiao has been exposed. I think Mayweather should just go ahead and move on because he's tired of chasing Pacquiao, even though that's a big fight. Saul Alvarez is a more appealing fight to me. So this is Skills versus Pills. I just want to run that down a little bit. Check out the rest of my videos. I guess I can do a little prediction right now. I'll take Mayweather to unanimous decision win over Saul Alvarez. I'll take Mayweather to knock out Manny Pacquiao in the 5th round. I'll take Timothy Bradley to split decision over Pacquiao. I'll take Andre Berto to split decision over Victor Ortiz coming up. I'll take Devin Alexander to split decision over Marcos Maidana coming up. Juan Manuel Marquez says he wants Lamont Peterson. I'll take Peterson to outscore unanimous decision over Marquez. There's some other fights coming up. Sergio Martinez versus I forget the guy's first name, Macklin. I watched a couple of his fights. I don't think Martinez is all that he's made out to be, but I'll take him in either a knockout in the 7th or 8th round or a unanimous decision. Julio Cesar Chavez versus Rubio. I take Rubio. I take Chavez either by knockout, 10th round knockout, or unanimous decision over Rubio. Yeah, Nunio Donaire versus Vasquez Jr. That's a good fight. That's the fight that I really want to see right there. And I think Vasquez Jr. Can outscore Nunio Donaire. I'll take Vasquez Jr. in a split decision. I really like Nunio Donaire, and if Nunio Donaire wins, he'll probably win in the 8th round stoppage of Vasquez Jr. There's a lot more fights, but my time's running out. I really don't want to be sitting around all day uploading this. So I'm going to show the world your bullshit, come back with a right hook, and lay your ass out. Peace.